To watch these important lessons, subscribe to DP Education's YouTube channel right now. Click on the bell icon to stay updated on the latest lessons. Sri Lanka's largest free online school, DP Education.
Right, children. Now we are going to start the next chapter of this lesson. Do you remember what we learned in the previous chapters, children? We learn about different forms of energy, and under different forms we learn about kinetic energy and potential energy. And we further learn about energy transformation too. Right, children? So, in this chapter also we are going to learn about some other forms of energy that we use in our day-to-day lives. Right? So, electrical energy. So, you all know how important electricity is. We use electrical energy in our day-to-day lives to do different work, okay? So, we have a small activity to do. List out the instances where electricity is used, recalling the work done using electricity. Now I am sure this is very easy for y'all because you all know there are different instances in our day-to-day lives that we use electricity. Shall we write this, children? You all can start before me. I will give you a few examples. Right. So even in this picture, some examples are given. So rotating a motor. So you all remember during the electricity lesson, we made small circuits using these type of motors. So when we supply electricity, the axis of the motor starts to rotate, okay? So running a toy car. So toy cars also work with, most of the time we use small dry cells to make these type of cars work. So you all know that when you consider the dry cells have chemicals inside, and because of the chemical reactions, electricity is generated, okay? Here, light in a bulb. So when you fix these type of small bulbs to a circuit to make the bulb work, you all know that you have to supply electricity, right? Ironing clothes. This is another very important common activity that we do in our day-to-day lives, right? Okay. We will write some other examples too. Right. So you all know that we can use electricity, right, to cook food. To cook food. So we use different types of electric cookers, right? Some of them are ovens, right? So to cook food, we use electric cookers, right? So using electricity, we can do this work. Again, to wash clothes, we use washing machines to wash clothes. What else, children? We can use electricity to charge our phones, to charge phones, right? And further we can use electricity to grind grains, right? We use grinders to grind grains, okay? And to heat water, we can use water heaters, right? And the list goes on, right? So you can write many other examples. Look at your surroundings. You will find so many other examples where we use electricity, okay? So these are only some examples. So list out instances where electricity is used, recalling the work done using electricity. So we wrote some examples. Discuss the facts that your group listed in the classroom. So when you are in the classroom, you can do this as a group activity and you can discuss what are the ways that you use electricity, right? Check whether any of the points you noted down are illustrated in the figures given below. Now, we already discussed about these instances as well. So, this is one of the most commonly used forms of energy, right? Because now we have already done another lesson about electricity. Now you all have a sound knowledge on electricity, right? We'll move on to the next. Okay, some other examples given. Some appliances that work using electricity are given below. Complete the table. So this one also you all can do by yourselves without my help, right? Okay, so there are two columns. Here appliance, here usage of appliance, okay? Small electric motor. What is the usage of small electric motor, children? So you all know that some of you are good at making small toys, inventing new things. So in that case, sometimes to make small toys, we can use these type of motors. Okay, and even when we make different electrical circuits also, we need to use these type of motors. Okay, we'll write usage of appliances. To make toys and circuits. Okay. Computer. Why do we need a computer, children? You all know we can learn many things using the computers, right? We can obtain new knowledge using the internet through the computer, and also for entertainment also computer is important. So we can listen to music, we can watch movies. So for entertainment, to learn new things, right? To obtain knowledge, we need the computer. We'll write computer. To improve knowledge. You can add the other things too, okay? Right. Electric iron. We use the electric iron to iron our clothes. To iron clothes. Right? Okay, we can write another one here. Washing machine. Washing machine. Washing machine is used to wash clothes. Wash clothes. Right? We will add one more thing here, children. Okay. Right. We will add, we can write electric kettle or electric jug. So we can use electric jug to heat water. Okay. To heat water. Right, children? So here you can add many other examples under the same list, okay? So small electric motor to make toys and circuits. Right? Computer to improve knowledge, for entertainment, right? Electric iron to iron clothes. Washing machine to wash clothes. Electric jug to heat water, right? So you have to understand when we use these type of appliances, we use electricity, but when we use the appliance, this electricity converts to another form of energy. The main form of energy we use is electrical energy. As we use these type of machines, this electrical energy changes to other forms of energies. Shall we write what are the energy conversions in these instances, children? Now the first one, small electric motor. We will put numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, children? So we will write number 1. What is the energy conversion takes place, children? So each instance they use electrical energy, right? So when you use the small electric motor, you all know when electricity is supplied to a motor, its axis starts rotating. So something is moving means that type of object contains which type of energy, children? Kinetic energy, right? So using the electrical energy, kinetic energy is formed, right? So let's write that. Electrical energy is converted to kinetic energy. Right, children? Number 2, computer. So when you consider the computer screen is just like the TV screen, right? So computer, we have to use electrical energy to make the computer work, and at the same time, what are the other types of energies formed? Low energy transformation takes place. So you all know light energy. The screen lights up. So the light energy, sound energy, right? But computer, electrical energy converts to, we can write sound energy and light energy both, okay? Sound energy and light energy as well. Right, children? Number 3, electric iron. What is the energy transformation takes place? Number 3, electrical energy is converted to what, children? So when you use the electric iron, electrical energy is converted to thermal energy. What is thermal energy? Which means heat energy, right? Okay. Electrical energy into thermal or heat energy. Right, children? Number 4, washing machine. So you all know when electricity is supplied, washing machine starts moving, right? The inner part of the washing machine starts moving along with the clothes. Therefore, moving objects contain kinetic energy, right? And sound energy is also there because when the machine works, you all know sound is also produced, okay? So we can write electrical energy converts to kinetic energy and sound energy. Right. The last one, electric jug. There what happens? Electrical energy, because you have to heat water, so electrical energy is converted to thermal energy or heat energy. Right. Number 5, electrical energy into thermal energy. Thermal energy. Right, children? So when you use the small electric motor, electrical energy is converted to kinetic energy, right? When you use the computer, electrical energy is converted to sound and light energy. Electrical energy here, the electric iron, when you use that one, electrical energy is converted to thermal energy or heat energy, right? So washing machine, their electrical energy is converted to basically kinetic energy and sound is also produced, right? Electric jug, electrical energy into thermal energy or heat energy again. So you can make a long list here. So we wrote only 5, but you can make the list longer. So in that case, you can understand this better, right? So you can practice writing the energy transformation too. Right, children? We'll move on to the next. We have an activity to do now, right? So what is the activity? Making a bell functioning with electricity. So this is a simple activity. So if you can find these materials at home, you all can make this setup also at home and try it out, okay? So what are the things we need? We need a cork stopper, and we need a wooden plank, and we need a small motor, and a bell cover we have to find. Okay, we need a bell cover, and we need a metal sheet, dry cells, iron nails, and pieces of wire. Let's write. Cork stopper, so sometimes you can change the materials with whatever you can find. You can make this setup. So when I show you the setup in the lab, you will understand that even if you don't have the exact same materials, you can make with the other types of alternative materials too, right? Okay. Wooden plank. Small motor. Need a bell cover. And a metal sheet. Dry cells. Iron nails. And pieces of wire. Right, children? Cork stopper, a wooden plank, a small motor, a bell cover, a metal sheet, dry cells, iron nails, and pieces of wire. So how to do this activity? Let's see. This is the method. Diagram is also given how to make the setup, okay? Right, we will label the diagram first. This is the bell cover, wooden plank, small motor. This is the stopper, metal stopper. These are the pieces of wire and nails. Right. Bell cover. Wooden plank. Stopper. Motor. Piece of wire. Right, children? So fix the bell cover on the wooden plank using nails and fix the stopper to the end of the motor. So the stopper, the part of the stopper should touch the bell cover, right? Fix the electric motor to the wooden plank using the piece of metal sheet. Now this is the metal sheet. Piece of metal sheet. Right? Fix the electric motor to the wooden plank using the piece of metal sheet in such a way that the stopper just touches the bell cover, right? Supply electricity to the motor using dry cells. You all can see here there are 2 pieces of wire. So you have to connect the other ends of the wire to the dry cells, okay? Then adjust the positions of the motor and bell cover to make the bell ring. What you have to do is you have to supply electricity using the dry cells to these other ends of the wires. So as the wires are connected with the terminals of the motor will get electricity, and this, as the stopper is connected to the axis of the motor, so the stopper will start to rotate along with the axis, right? As the stopper touches the bell cover, so each time the stopper rotates the bell cover, it will contact with the bell cover and the bell will start to ring. Okay, so we will do this activity in the lab now. Right, children. Now I'm going to show you all how to make a simple bell. Okay, right. Look at this one. So I have fixed this bell cover. This is a bell cover and I have fixed it on this piece of wood. And you all can see this is a small motor. And you all can see these two axes of the motor. One axis from this wire, it is connected to the dry cells, right? And this wire is free. And you all can see this is the axis of the small motor. Now I am going to fix this small metal piece to this axis so that when the bell, we can hear the bell ringing very well when this tiny metal piece contact with the surface of the bell, okay? Right. And now I am going to connect this wire to this other end of the dry cell. Observe what happens. What happens, children? When we complete the circuit, when we close the circuit, what happens? This axis of the motor works, it rotates. According to that rotation, this small metal piece also rotates. So when we connect all these equipment, we have to fix this bell cover as if it contacts with this tiny metal piece. Okay, so because of the contact between the bell cover and the metal piece, it gives a sound, right? Right. Okay. Right. So this is a very simple circuit. What are the different methods that we can develop this circuit, children? I'll show you how to connect a switch to this circuit. Now look at this. This is a switch. You all can see there's a small lever-like part. We can move it. So I'm going to connect this wire coming from one terminal of the small motor to this wire. And then I'm going to connect it to this part. And I'm going to connect this wire to the other end of the dry cells and the other terminal to this side. Right? Now this circuit is open because you all can see the switch is opened. So when we close the switch, right, our circuit works, the bell works. Okay, children? I hope you understood this activity. Right, children. So you observed what happened when I was showing the experiment. So I hope it was clear. Right, children? So we made this setup, and when we supply electricity, so to the other pieces of the wires, to the other terminals of the wires, we have to supply dry cells in order to provide electricity. Now you all know that when dry cells are used to provide electricity, chemical energy is converted to electrical energy. Okay? So from that electrical energy, what happens when electricity is provided? Then electrical energy is converted to kinetic energy. What is the reason, children? Because as the electricity is supplied, this motor starts to rotate. The axis of the motor starts to rotate. So when it starts to rotate, according to the rotation, it makes the sound. Therefore, electrical energy is converted to kinetic energy, and kinetic energy is converted to sound energy, right? Let's write this. Observation. When electricity is supplied through the wire, The motor rotates. When the stopper rotates, makes the bell ring. Right? When electricity is supplied through the wire, the motor rotates. When the stopper rotates, it makes the bell ring. Okay? We'll write the energy conversion here. Electrical energy. Electrical energy is first converted to kinetic energy. Kinetic energy. And then the kinetic energy is converted to the sound energy. Sound energy. Right, children? Electrical energy is converted to kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is converted to the sound energy. So basically using the electrical energy, sound energy is produced. Right, children? So I hope you understood about the electrical energy very well. Now we are going to learn about the next form of energy. Right, sound energy. Right? Look at this one. You may have experienced that the doors and windows of your house vibrate when thundering. You must have experienced this, children. When thundering, the windows and doors, they start to jiggle, right? So, what is the reason for this one, children? Because of the sound produced. You all know that if the thundering noise is too high, the doors and windows start to jiggle very fast. Okay, children? So high tones of vehicles are unbearable to the ears. Just imagine you are in a traffic jam. You know how difficult to listen to the sound around you, right? That's actually a big noise around you. It's very difficult to bear these type of noises. Okay, children? So what is the reason? Do you remember in grade 6 you all have learned about this lesson called sound? So you all know sound means a type of energy, which means sound contains energy. Right, children? Do you remember that we learned about two different types of sound? That is the sound with a rhythm and sound without a rhythm. Do you remember the name that we gave to the sound with rhythm? That is known as music. Right, children? The sound without a certain pattern or certain rhythm are known as noise. Right? So when you consider sound, there are two types, music and noise. Right? So when you consider music, those are the sounds with a specific rhythm or specific pattern. Right? Noise, they don't have a specific rhythm or a pattern. So when you consider the music, it is pleasant to your ears, but noise is unpleasant to your ears. Right? So when you consider the high tones of vehicles, that is considered as a noise. That is why it is very unpleasant to your ears. Okay, children? So we like the sounds like the chirps of birds and the sweet melodies of music. But we don't like to hear unbearable sounds, which means noise. Okay, children? So what do you think now? Sound is considered as a type of energy because a certain type of energy is stored in this sound, okay? So energy contains in both pleasant and unpleasant sounds, right? So pleasant or unpleasant sounds, which means music and noise both contains a certain type of energy contained in it. Right, children? We'll move on to the next. We have an activity to do. This is a very interesting activity, right? So what is the activity? Finding out whether the sound has some sort of energy. Now already we categorize sound as a type of energy, right? So we are going to check what type of energy this sound has, okay? So what are the materials we need? We need a small radio set, we need a piece of paper, and we need some rigiform balls or polystyrene balls, okay? Right, let's write. We need a radio set, a paper, and polystyrene balls. Right, children? A radio set, a paper, and polystyrene balls, okay? How to do the activity? Now you all can do this activity also at home very easily, right? So look at this diagram. We will label the diagram first. You all can see this is the radio. You all can see this paper is placed on the speaker part of the radio. This is the speaker. This is the paper and polystyrene balls. Right. Radio. This is the speaker. Paper and the polystyrene balls or rigiform balls. Polystyrene balls. Right, children? So how to do the activity? By looking at the diagram, you can understand how to do this activity, right? So the first thing, place the front side of the radio set upside and increase the volume. Then put a few pieces of polystyrene on the sheet of paper and hold it above the radio. Note down the observations. So when you do this activity, you have to place the sheet of paper on the speaker and you have to place the polystyrene balls on the paper. And then you have to observe what happens when you increase and decrease the volume of the radio, right? So you are going to observe that when you switch on the radio, these polystyrene balls are going to move. What you are going to observe is what happens to the speed of movement of these polystyrene balls when you increase and decrease the volume of the radio. We will do this activity now. Right, children. Now we are going to do this activity to prove that sound contains energy. Now you all can see there are two speakers here and on each speaker there are small rigiform balls, okay? The moment these rigiform balls are not moving, I am going to move these small rigiform balls using sound. So what I am going to do is I am going to turn on the music and gradually I am going to increase the volume of the music. So you will realize what happens when I increase the volume of the music, okay? Right. So you all can see these rigiform balls are moving slowly, kind of vibration. Now I am going to increase the volume, observe carefully. Right, children. So you observed what happened when I gradually increase the volume of music. What happened, children? The movement of these rigiform balls also increase. They move faster. Okay? So you all know that we need energy to do work. So moving of these rigiform balls is also a type of work. So how did we do this work, children? Using sound. So after doing this activity, it's very clear Because sound contained energy, we could do this work, which means moving the rigiform balls. Right, children? So you observed that very interesting activity. So what did we do? There we used some polystyrene balls. Now according to this one, the diagram is given it differently, but we did it in a different way. I used small speakers there. Right, children? So what happens when we turn on the radio or the small speakers? These polystyrene balls start to move. What happens to the speed of the motion of the polystyrene balls when we increase the volume? They move faster. And again, when we reduce the volume, their speed also reduces. Okay, children? Let's write this. When the radio is turned on. Polystyrene balls start to move. When the volume of the radio is increased, the speed of the movement of the balls also increase. Right, children? When the radio is turned on, the polystyrene balls start to move. When the volume of the radio is increased, the speed of the movement of the balls also increase. So what is the conclusion, children? So we can consider moving of these small polystyrene balls is a type of work. To do work, what do we need, children? We need energy to do work. So here it's very clear the polystyrene balls move because of the sound produced. When sound was not there, did the polystyrene balls move, children? No. Only when electricity was supplied, sound produced, and only with the sound, the polystyrene balls started to move. Right, children? So here what happens? When the sound increases, what happens to the movement or the speed of movement also increases, which means if more sound is there, the speed of movement also increases. In order to increase the speed of the movement of the polystyrene balls, more energy should be supplied. Right, children? So by increasing the volume of the sound, what happens, children? We are increasing the amount of energy supplied to the polystyrene balls. So it's very clear that this work is done by sound, which means in order to do this type of work, sound must have a certain type of energy. Right, children? Let's write the conclusion. The movement of the polystyrene balls is a type of work. Right? Energy is needed to do work. The above work was done by sound. Therefore, sound contains energy. Right, children? The movement of the polystyrene balls is a type of work, right? Energy is needed to do work. We all know that because in the first chapter we learned that, right? The above work was done by sound. Therefore, sound contains energy. Right, children? We will move on to the next. Right, the same thing is given here. You can observe the vibration of the polystyrene particles, right? So thus it's clear that sound also contains energy. So without energy, can we do any work? No, because the energy was contained in sound, it could move these polystyrene particles, right? The energy contained in sound is scientifically known as sound energy, right? The energy transformation that occurs when a radio set operates is given below. In order to operate a radio set, what should we supply? Electricity or electrical energy. So what is the energy transformation takes place, children? Because of the electrical energy, sound energy is produced, which means energy transformation is electrical energy is transformed to sound energy, right? Let's write that. Electrical energy into sound energy. Right, children? Energy transformation that occurs when a radio set operates is electrical energy transforms to sound energy. Right? Okay. Now here we have an extra knowledge part. We will go through this even though it's given as extra knowledge. These type of small information are very important, children, right? When addressing a mass gathering, sound energy produced by human voice is not sufficient because we all know that the loudness of our voice is limited, right? So if you want to give a certain message, convey a message to a large crowd, single person's voice is not enough. In that case, we have to amplify or we have to increase the loudness of our sound, right? Therefore, sound is amplified or increased, multiplied using electricity, right? Appliance used for this purpose is called loudspeaker set. So when we use the loudspeaker, what happens, children? Our sound energy is increased many times by electricity. Right, children? We will move on to the next. Right. So we have another assignment to do. Let's read this. Name 4 instances where sound energy is used. Now you all know that sound has a certain type of energy. What are the uses of these type of sound energy, children? What are the instances? So you all know that in day-to-day life for communication, to talk to each other, we need to use the sound energy. That is the most important one. Right, children? So for day-to-day communication, we use sound energy. What else, children? So you all know that even in music industry, sound energy is very important, right? To do different explorations, to do different experiments on music, we need to use sound energy. Right, children? Not only that, do you know that using music, we can treat patients, and this is known as musical therapy. Right, children? Because this calm music, like classical music, they have this special power to calm down the patients. So patients like heart patients, patients with high blood pressure can be treated with this musical therapy. Right, children? So that is another use of sound. What else, children? You must have seen ambulances use this special type of alarm or the siren in order to draw attention of people, right? So in order to draw attention also we have to use sound sometimes. Okay, children, like the ambulance sirens and even the alarm clocks, you all know that they use a special alarm in order to draw attention of people, right? That is another use. What else, children? Do you know that there are something called ultrasound waves? Now in the upper grades, you all are going to learn more about sound, right? So when you learn about sound, you all are going to learn a certain quality of sound called its frequency, right? So based on the frequency, there are different types of sound waves. So the sound waves with higher frequencies are known as ultrasound waves. So these type of ultrasound waves can be used to treat patients with cancers. Okay, children, you must have heard of ultrasound scanning systems. In order to observe the internal parts of the body, we can use these type of ultrasound scans. So in these ultrasound scan machines, in order to observe the internal structures, internal parts of the body, these type of ultrasound waves are used. Right, children? We will write these things now. You have write 4 instances. For communication, communication, in music industry, and in musical therapy. Then write to draw attention. What are the examples? Siren sound, alarm clocks, right? So under this one, children, you must have observed that most of the machines, right? Most of the machines nowadays, they have these type of sound systems, right? Let's say, for example, washing machines. Sometimes when it starts to wash clothes, they give a certain type of sound. So when the washing process is completed, it's indicated by another type of sound. Okay, so to draw attention, it is important. Okay, right. Then we will write ultrasound waves are used to treat patients. Right, children? Used to treat patients, to observe the internal parts of the body. Also, these ultrasound machines are used. Okay, so you're going to learn more about these type of the use of ultrasound waves in the upper grades. Right, children? So I hope you understood this part well. We will move on to the next. Right. So our next form of energy is light energy. Now even about the light energy you all are very familiar with. Do you remember in grade 6 you learned about light as well as a type of energy? I hope you remember the last year work too. Okay? So light is very important for vision. So last year you learned that to see something clearly we need 2 things. What are the 2 things, children? Healthy eyes and a source of light. So even if our eyes are healthy, if we are in a very dark place without any light source, can we see anything? We cannot. Right? Therefore, in order to observe something clearly, light is very important. Okay? Therefore, since ancient days, various methods were used to produce light. Nowadays, we all have light bulbs. We still use daylight during the daytime, but in the night time, we have different types of lamps that are used with electricity. But what about the ancient days, children, when people did not have electricity? There was no way to use these type of bulbs, right? So how did ancient people obtained light? So obviously during the daytime they could use the daylight, and at the same time during the night time they made lamps with different uh, fuels like kerosene and coconut oil as well. Okay children, so green plants use light energy for the process of manufacturing food, which is known as photosynthesis. So when we consider photosynthesis, you all know that only green plants can do photosynthesis. Do you remember what are the factors affecting photosynthesis? There are 4 factors affecting photosynthesis. What are they? Sunlight, carbon dioxide gas, carbon dioxide gas. What is the third one, children? Soil, water, and finally, the green color substance present in the plants, which is known as chlorophyll, right? Chlorophyll. So for the plants to produce food or to do photosynthesis, all 4 factors must present. At least one of these factors are not there, plants cannot do photosynthesis. So in another way, plants cannot produce their own food, right? So sunlight is one main factor, right children? So this is the reason the plants cannot produce their food during the night time, because there is no sunlight. Right children? So green plants use light energy for the process of manufacturing food called photosynthesis. Now you all know that because of this photosynthesis process, the life can continue, because you all know that all the animals directly or indirectly depend on green plants. So if green plants couldn't do photosynthesis, what will happen? All the plants and all the animals will die eventually. Right children? Therefore, this photosynthesis process is very important to continue life. In that case, sunlight or the light energy is very important to continue this process. Right children? We will move on to the next. We have another assignment to do. So before I explain these type of assignments, children, please try to do them by yourselves. Right? So you can check whether you understood the lesson or not. Right? Right. Tabulate the materials used in various light sources to produce light. Okay. So source of light. What is the meaning of source of light, children? Last year we learned this. Source of light means a thing or an object that produces light. Right children? Okay. So the source of light given in this column and materials used to produce light is given in the other column. Right? So the first one is done here. The first one is electric torch. Now here this is the electric torch. What are the materials used to produce light? You all know that you have to insert dry cells in order to get light, right? So the dry cells can generate electricity. Now what is the energy transformation takes place when we use dry cells in order to generate electricity? So dry cells contains chemical substances, therefore chemical energy is converted to electrical energy. So when we make this torch work using dry cells, what is the energy transformation takes place, children? The electrical energy is converted to light energy. Right, children? So electric torch, the materials used to produce light is dry cells. Right? Then what about the candle? So source of light is candle. What are the materials used? You all know that candle is made with wax. Now when you consider the wax, wax is a type of fuel. So when you burn the wax, it's as if we are burning the fuel, the wax, right? So here what happens? The materials used to produce light is the wax. Candle is made with wax, right? Torch made of dried coconut leaves. Oh, it's known as huluwatta. So do you remember earlier we learned that the ancient people, they did not have modern sources of energy like light bulbs and all. So this is one type of method they use to obtain light during the night time, right? Using this hulu atta. There, how they made this? They collected these dried coconut leaves and then they soaked them in kerosene oil, and they could light it up because kerosene oil is also a type of fuel. Right, children? So, torch made of dried coconut leaves. What are the materials used? Coconut leaves. So, we will write dried coconut leaves. Dried coconut leaves. And at the same time, I told you all, these dried coconut leaves are soaked in kerosene oil. Therefore, kerosene oil is also another material. Kerosene oil. Right, children? And the last one, kerosene lamp. Kerosene lamp, here look at this picture given, it's a kerosene lamp. Right? So the wick is soaked in this kerosene oil, and so the kerosene oil can go up through the wick, right? So thereby, by burning the wick, we can obtain light energy. Right, children? So kerosene lamp, what are the materials used to produce light? They are kerosene oil. Right. So when you do this assignment, don't stop from these 4 instances. You can look for the other instances also that are used to produce light. You can find the other sources of light and you can check what are the materials used to produce light as well. Right? We will move on to the next. Right. We have an activity to do. Now this activity we have done even before during the electricity lesson. So when we do the activity, you will realize that we have done this before too, right? So the activity is proving that light energy can be used to generate electricity. So as I told you all, we have already learned this during the electricity lesson. I hope you all remember when we were discussing about generating electricity, we learned that there are 3 main methods of generating electricity. Right, children? Number 1, using chemical cells. Using chemical reactions, we can generate electricity. Number 2, using dynamos, we can generate electricity. So most of the time in most of the power plants, this is the method of generating electricity, right? The third method is using solar panels. Right, children? So solar panels are, when the solar panels are exposed to sunlight, what happens? It can absorb solar energy and it can generate electricity. Right? So we are going to prove that using these type of solar panels, electricity is generated. Therefore, light can be used to generate electricity. Right? So what are the materials we need? We need a small solar panel, a small motor and a torch bulb, right? Let's write a small solar panel, a small motor and a torch bulb. Right, children? We'll see how to do this. Connect the electric motor to the solar panel and expose it to light. Right? When the solar panel is exposed to light, you have to observe what happens, as you have already done. Now you all know, right? When the electric motor with the solar panel is exposed to light, what will happen? The motor will start to rotate. The motor rotates only if electricity passes through it. Right, children? So when the solar panel is exposed to light, the solar panel can generate electricity. Right? So remove the electric motor and connect the torch bulb. Secondly, what you have to do is, instead of this small motor, you have to connect a small bulb and do the same activity. Expose the solar panel to light and you are going to see that the bulb lights up. So for the bulb to light up, an electric current should pass through the bulb. So here what happens? When the solar panel is exposed to light, it generates electricity, and because of the electric current, the bulb lights up. Right, children? We are going to do this activity in the lab now. Right, children. Now we are going to do this activity to show that electricity can be generated using light energy. Right, children? So look what I have here. Here I have a small solar panel. So the terminals of the solar panels, I have connected these two wires, right? So first of all, I'm going to adjust the solar panel as it gets enough sunlight, okay? This is where the window is. Therefore, I'm going to adjust it like this. Right. Okay. So observe carefully what happens. First of all, you all can see this is a small motor with a small fan. I am going to connect one wire to the one terminal of this motor and the other wire to the other terminal. What happens, children? The fan rotates, the motor works and the fan rotates. Okay? Right. So now here I have a small bulb. We'll check whether the bulb works with the solar panel. Right. The bulb also lights up, children. Okay, which means the solar panel generates electricity. So how did the solar panel generate electricity, children? Because of the light falls on this solar panel. Now the sunlight falls on the solar panel and the solar panel can convert this light energy to electrical energy. So what is the energy transformation takes place, children? Light energy or solar energy is converted to electrical energy. Right, children. So you observe that experiment. So what were the observations? Shall we write now? Right. When the solar panel with the motor connected is exposed to sunlight, the motor rotates. Right? When the solar panel with the bulb is exposed to sunlight, the bulb illuminates. Right? When the solar panel with the motor connected is exposed to sunlight, the motor rotates. When the solar panel with the bulb is exposed to sunlight, the bulb illuminates or lights up. Right? What is the conclusion? So you all know, in order to make this motor and the light bulb work, what should happen? An electric current should pass through both the equipment. Right? So you observe that only when we expose this solar panel to the light, they start to work, which means when we expose the solar panel to light or sunlight, what happens? It generates electricity. So now we know that using light energy, electricity can be generated. Let's write conclusion. To make the motor and the bulb work, there should be an electric current passing through them. Passing through them. The above equipment work only when the solar panel is exposed to light. Therefore, electricity can be generated using light energy. Right? To make the motor and the bulb work, there should be an electric current passing through them. Right? The above equipment work only when the solar panel is exposed to light. Right, children? Therefore, electricity can be generated using light energy. Right? We will move on to the next. Here the same thing we discussed is here. The electric motor and the torch bulb were operated by light energy. Thus, it's clear that light energy can be used for various purposes, right? The main source of light to the earth is, what is the main source of light, children? That is the sun, right? Though a large amount of light energy falls on the earth from the sun, only a very small amount of light energy is utilized. Okay, so even using solar panels, not all the areas generate electricity, right? So there is an increasing interest to use the light energy of sunlight or solar energy on large scale today. So most of the people are switching to use these type of solar energy in order to generate electricity. Right, children? So when we install these solar panels, the initial cost is high. But at the same time, after installing them, we don't have to pay for electricity again anymore. That is because we are using solar energy in order to generate electricity. We get solar energy free of charge. Right, children? So only the initial cost is high, but afterwards we can continuously obtain electricity when the solar panel is exposed to sunlight. Right, children? Okay. So the energy transformation that occurs when electricity is generated in a solar cell is given below. We have to write it down. What is the energy transformation, children? Please write down before I write down this one. Now I'm sure it's very, very easy for you all because we discussed many instances where energy transformation takes place, right? Shall we write? So what is the energy transformation takes place? Light energy is converted to electrical energy, right? Light energy. Light energy is converted to electrical energy. Right? In solar panels, light energy is converted to electrical energy. Using light, electricity is generated. Right, children? We will move on to the next. Right. Extra knowledge part. Green plants manufacture food using light energy. Now, we already discussed the process. This is known as photosynthesis, right? This process is known as photosynthesis. So, what is the equation for photosynthesis, children. Do you remember we learned earlier? So when you consider the photosynthesis process, the water or the soil water inside the plant. So soil water is absorbed by the plant roots. Okay. So inside the plant, the water reacts with or combines with carbon dioxide gas. Carbon dioxide gas. And as a result, food is produced by plants. Now here, basically food means glucose. In brackets we will write glucose. So are there any other substances produced during photosynthesis? Now you all know water and carbon dioxide mixes with each other and they produce food, and another very important byproduct. What is that, children? That is the oxygen gas, right? Oxygen gas. Now, even though there should be 4 factors affecting the photosynthesis, which means water, carbon dioxide gas, and the sunlight and chlorophylls, what are the other 2 factors, children? You can't see those 2 factors anywhere here. Remember, in the presence of sunlight and chlorophylls, this process takes place. Right, children? So when you consider the plant leaves are made up of plant cells. So inside the plant cells, these chlorophylls present. So because of the presence of chlorophylls, these plant cells, or especially the plant cells present in the plant leaves, contain a lot of chlorophylls. Therefore, plant leaves are green in color. The green color substance is known as chlorophyll. Right, children? So only in the presence of chlorophyll and also sunlight, this process takes place. Right? So we can write it like this. Because the process takes place in the presence of sunlight and chlorophylls, we can write sunlight like this and chlorophylls. We'll use a different color. Chlorophyll. Right? So in the presence of sunlight and chlorophylls, water reacts with carbon dioxide and food is produced. As a byproduct, oxygen gas is also released. Right, children? So here light energy is stored in plant as food. Right? So what is the energy transformation? So when you consider the whole process, the chemical reactions take place. So in order to make this happen, the energy is provided by the solar energy or the sunlight. So using the solar energy, chemical reaction takes place and chemical substances are produced, which means now food contains chemical substances. Therefore, what type of energy is stored in food, children? Chemical energy. Right? So when you consider food, chemical energy is stored in food. So how did the plants make this food with chemical energy? Using solar energy. So what is the energy transformation takes place? There the energy transformation is solar energy, or we can simply write light energy. Light energy is converted to chemical energy. So when you consider the photosynthesis, what is the energy transformation takes place? Light energy. So the light is provided by the sun, right? Therefore, light energy or sunlight is converted to chemical energy. Where does this chemical energy present? In food. Right, children? So here light energy is stored in plants as food. Energy is supplied to the whole living world by this food produced by plants, because we already learned that when we consider animals, all the animals directly or indirectly depend on plants. Right, children? So you all know how important this photosynthesis process is. So if light energy was not there, will this happen, children? No, it's not possible to make this happen without sunlight. Right, children? Let's move to the next. Right. We have another self-assessment to do. List out some other instances where light energy is used. So we use two main importances of light energy to generate electricity and for photosynthesis. What are the other instances, children? Even last year we learned these different other uses of light. What are the other uses of light? Do you remember we learned that light can be used as signals? Now when we consider lighthouses and traffic light, different types of lights are used to give signals to the others, right? Therefore, used as signals. So we can write examples: lighthouse, lighthouse, traffic lights. So in traffic lights, most of the time, 3 types of colors are used, right? So as signals, light is used. What are the other things? For decorations, light is used, okay? So some other instances where light energy is used. For decorations, right? So in different events, for decorations. What else, children? Light is used in communication. Do you remember we learned about optic fibers? Last year we learned about optic fibers. So when you consider telephone communication, internet communication, all those internet lines and the telephone lines, they are made with a special type of materials called optic fiber. Right, children? So when you consider the optic fibers, the messages are sent from one place to another place in the form of light, right? Therefore, for communication also light is used. For communication, we can write examples: optic fibers. Optic fibers. Right, children? What else? What are the other instances we use light? Do you remember even last year we learned that light is used in the medical field? I hope you remember that one. So there's a special type of light rays called laser rays. This laser light or laser rays is used in many instances in the medical field, right? So to treat patients, these laser rays are used in different instances in the medical field, right? So we can write that as well. In the medical field. In the medical field. To treat some eye diseases, right? Example. Laser rays. Right? We will write one more thing. For entertainment, you all know most of the time some toys, right? Those type of instances also. Most of the toys contain lights, right? So we can write that as well. For entertainment. Right. So you can find many other examples as well, children. Okay, don't stop from here. Find many other examples so that you can improve your knowledge, right? So especially let's say that when we pick these laser rays, you can find, you can look for the examples. What are the instances where these laser rays are used in medical field, right? So one such example is when you consider there's this eye disease called cataract, right? So cataract means the transparency of your eye lens reduces. That's because of change of the nature of the protein in the lens and the eyes. This transparency of the eye lens changes. In that case, we can't see properly. So in order to treat this cataract disease, laser rays are used nowadays. Right, children? So likewise, look for more information. What are the different methods of using these same instances as well? Right? So thereby you can improve your knowledge. Right, children? So we have completed this chapter as well. So like the previous chapter, even in this chapter, we learn about some forms of energy and how to use these different forms of energy in our day-to-day activities. So in the next chapters also, we are going to learn more about different other forms of energy.
To watch these important lessons, subscribe to DP Education's YouTube channel right now. Click on the bell icon to stay updated on the latest lessons. Sri Lanka's largest free online school, DP Education.